Welcome to Vidhu channel. MBA Knowledge in Real World. In this series, I am going to explain important concepts of MBA and how it relates to the day-to-day life, which means in a real world scenario, right? How it helps in a real world scenario, and is it really helping for the real world scenario? If it is helping, what kind of results people are getting, right? How do we know that it is helping, right? So the ideal situation we can talk about, and also I can talk about what is the real world, right? What's happening currently, what should happen if you are having a real MBA knowledge, right? In 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 that context, let me begin with this first part. The target audience for this educational content is students, and of course any professional, working professional, even um, those who are in a teaching field also. You may feel surprised, why am I saying that it is useful for even the teaching field also. The people who are in the teaching field, who has the MBA knowledge, right? Why they should listen to this, or why, how can this particular content helps them, because they already know it. The difference here is, yes, there is no doubt they may be having knowledge. They are very sound in the theoretical aspects of the MBA, but the practical implications, right? They might have not got the opportunity to work with any industry in a real time scenario, meaning as an employee or as a manager, as an executive, right? The practical experience they might not be having. So for such kind of people, and of course there are some professors and lecturers, teachers, who are converted from this working field towards teaching field, right? So primarily this is for teachers uh, who had no industry experience, and for the students, right? And anyone who is having an interest, aspiration in terms of learning MBA for real world applications. So I want to take it in a slow paced approach, because it's a thinking channel, right? This channel is meant for thinkers, and this is not a training, or it's not a kind of MBA um, coaching video. No, that's not the objective here. This is purely to gain the real insights of MBA knowledge, the real insight, the true insights, the true knowledge, the pure knowledge. Based on my experience, approximately 2 decades of experience in various roles, especially in the management field, the clients and the vendors, the employees, management, right? The context of delivering a true quality services and products, right? In terms of delivering the true quality service and products, just imagine how much of friction, how much of you know um how much of when I say friction, the dynamics of getting the job done, right? It is so significant. I'm not saying that you know my individual experience perspective alone. Everyone, whoever has got an industry experience, they might have already navigated such kind of challenges, each and everybody's experience is unique. Why? Because human being, every single human being is unique. Every single human being is unique. That's the important thing that we should remember. Because age difference, family, culture, experience, academic qualification, the exposure to the different environments, projects, assignments, people, network, everything, right? Everything is different. So every human being is unique. So please do listen to all the people who ever had experience in this area. Do not just simply rely on only one or two people, because when you listen this subject concepts from maximum number of people, you will gain maximum dimensions of thinking. The maximum dimensions. This is an n-dimensional experience, right? Or you can at least start reading a lot of books, because books represents that particular author's experience. Book is a reflection of author's own experience with his or her real world. So if you read 10 books, you are gaining the profound wisdom of 10 people's real life experience. So book reading is very important. Fine. Let's begin with MBA Knowledge in Real World. Why the title is given like that? MBA Knowledge in Real World. MBA, Master of Business Administration, and MBA Knowledge in Real World. We can even say that MBA Knowledge for Real World. But I don't want to say MBA Knowledge for Real World. I want to say MBA Knowledge in Real World. Meaning, how is the MBA knowledge being applied in real world? Ideal current situation versus ideal situation. How the MBA knowledge should be in the real world. That's the logic. Now let's get into the topic. I'll start from MBA first year and the first year curriculum perspective, the syllabus perspective. I'll go in a sequential order only. Random discussions doesn't help. So first year is common for everybody, right? Whoever studied or studying MBA. Second year is where the specialization comes. In first year, the names may be a little bit different, right? The syllabus, the curriculum, but more or less it's the same underlying concepts everybody studies. In first year, there are subjects like the management related concepts, managerial communication related, and fundamentals of mathematics and statistics also we study. Managerial economics, the economics related the topics. The behavioral of organization, right? How the organizational dynamics, the behavior of organization. Then we have little bit of cost, price, and the accounting, basically the budgeting, accounting related also. More or less, these are the topics in first year. In addition to that, about the basics or the fundamentals of the specialization also gets introduced in the first year itself, right? So the production management, marketing management, financial management related, human resource, right? HR, OR related, operations research, and research methods in management, right? Typically these are all the first year and couple of semesters subjects, right? Meaning the first year, whole first year they study these subjects. The order may be different from the university to university, but more or less this is the same thing. Well, again it's a gentle reminder that I am not teaching MBA here. I am sharing my experience in line with MBA concepts, right? Because most of the people, you know, they may not really remember or recollect the MBA concepts while they are in their, project, the real world project. When it comes to the real world, they don't really think about, okay, now I should, now I am directing, now I am staffing, now I am focusing on controlling, now I am building the, the team building, or now I am doing the accounting. Now this is organization behavior. Nobody, gets into the demarcation of all this, subject oriented thinking when it comes to the real world work, right? The real world consists of the cumulative experience, full of surprises, unpredictable situations, right? So if your learning is sequential, if your learning is proper, if your learning and if you are having a strong foundation, when it comes to the real world scenario, you will able to solve any kind of problem. And you know what? The techniques that comes to your mind quickly, instantly, at that moment, whenever you need, you will get those techniques. But for that, you should be really paying a lot of attention in grasping these, concepts. If you just study for sake of marks, if you just study for sake of degree, right, then the moment you get a degree, you will forget everything. You will forget the whole subject. Then again, you will reinvent the wheel. You will only work on easy tasks. You will struggle with, the communication. You will struggle with understanding the management concept. Why my manager is behaving like this, or why my team is behaving like this? Why this is happening to me? Why am I not getting promotion? Why my hike, it's not the same as others' hike? Why some people are getting promoted? Why I am not getting promoted? Or, full of dilemmas, complete full of dilemmas you will be having. You may be wondering, Vishwa, no, I have done MBA, but still I am having these kind of questions. How is MBA related to these questions in the real world? That is exactly the problem that I am trying to handle here through these sessions. That is exactly the problem. MBA has answers for all your day-to-day challenges in your professional field. MBA is having answers for all your challenges that you are facing at workplace. MBA is having answers for all your business problems, right? It has the set of framework and the proven methodologies and the thought process. It makes your brain ready to solve any kind of business problem. You will not find exact answer in MBA syllabus for your business problems, but it will make you ready. It will make your brain ready to solve any kind of problem in a business. That's how any knowledge, right? That's how any subject helps. See, you have studied mathematics, you have studied algebra, calculus, integrations or differential calculations, right? Matrices, correct? Arithmetic, everything. But when it comes to the real world, no customer will ask you about matrices or, I need the formula for your triangle, or tell me the formula for a rectangle and all. The requirements doesn't appear in that way. But you will need the triangle formula or rectangular formula, right? Any type of mathematical formula as an underlying theme in order to solve the business challenge or the requirement, or in order to build a product, right? So that's how, meaning all the subjects are like alphabeticals, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Alphabeticals, right? So when it comes to the communication, the speaking, without these alphabets, how do you communicate? Right? Individually, you may not be using it, right? Exclusively, may not be using A, B, C, D for communication. You'll be using the combination of these words, and you have set of rules, regulations, grammar, vocabulary, articulation, lot of things. Similarly, all these subjects are like, the foundation, the grammar, the rules, the grammar rules. MBA has the grammar rules for running a successful business. Now you may get another question. What about people who have never done MBA but still they are successful? Right? If you are asking that question, first thing is it's a hypothetical question. For an hypothetical question, the answer will always be hypothetical answer only. Right? And if you really want to solve any hypothetical situation, then you need to apply the statistical tests. You have to derive the hypothesis. You have to define the null hypothesis. You have to define the alternate hypothesis. Then you have to do a proper testing. Quantitative approach you have to take. Right? So that's a different topic altogether. So what I'm saying is, what about the people who have never done MBA but still they are successful? For that, my answer is, had they studied MBA, they might have become even more successful. Right? So that's how we should look at it. Because the concepts are quite useful. If it is not useful, why so many people are studying MBA? Why so many universities are having MBA? Why everybody, even the people in technology field, right? Especially people in technology, once they complete BTech or any of the technical courses, immediately they look for MBA. Right? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was a craze, big, huge demand. Everywhere you can hear MBA, 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 everybody. And there are institutions who teach formal professional MBA with a huge, significant fees. Significant fees compared to any other institutes. Right? Well, I am not getting into that angle of, the commercial angle of these. I want to restrict here in terms of the real knowledge, right? I am not getting into the business model of how MBA is, used or exploited or abused also sometimes. The subject has been abused very significantly. So, the second point is for the same question, right? So, Vishwa, how many people, there are people who have become very successful even though they have not done MBA. For that, as I said, my answer is, had they studied MBA, they would have become even more successful. The second thing is, how do you define success? Success definition is not same for everybody, right? For you, the success definition is different. For me, the definition of success is different. The definition of success is, different for person to person. It varies. Right? It varies from person to person. So let us not, get into the trap of generalization. So the problem here is, when somebody asks a specific question, your mind get into the generic solution or generic question. You will answer by asking a generic question. When somebody asks you a generic question, then you will talk about your mind get into the specific question. Let's say, a person who study for 10 hours in a day, they get first rank. If I say that, then immediately, how come it's possible? What about the people who have who have studied even 4 hours per day, but still they have become so. Like that, you will start. That's how the argument gets built, right? So if I talk something generic, your mind will search for specific. If I talk something specific, your mind search for generic, right? That is how the mind behaves. Well, I can talk about there are interesting mindset related aspects which maybe I'll try to do in the future, some videos. Let's come back to the MBA knowledge. So in the first year, as I said, it's all about communication, and then fundamentals of mathematics and statistics, and then managerial concepts. You'll have economics related, you have organizational behavior, and then little bit of basics of accounting. Then you will have the basics of all the specialization courses, right? Production management related, marketing management related, financial management related, HR related, operations research. Now even business analytics also they've included, right? Data science, artificial intelligence related, so whatnot. Even blockchain also, IoT and blockchain also. Okay, so let's first talk about the management concepts related, right? Let's talk about the management concepts related. Or I think the best starting point is to talk about the organizational behavior related, right? Organizational behavior. What is the evolution of management thought, right? That's the most important thing. Evolution of management thought, the thought of management, how did it occur, right? That's an interesting thing. And how did it evolve over a period of time, right? That's a very interesting thing. First, let us understand what is the management thought process. What exactly is the MBA, right? Master of Business Administration. What is administration? You know what is master, you know what is business, what is administration? Administration, day to day, aspects. How do you manage the day to day activities of organization related, right? What is administration, right? Administration, if you look at the standard definition, the control or the act of managing something, for example a system or an organization or a business. That's what you can find in internet, the definition of management, right? So the group of people are part of a company that organizes or controls something. That's what written in internet, right? Administration means the control or the act of managing something, for example a system or an organization or a business. This another definition is the group of people are part of a company that organizations or control something. Okay. Now, how is the evolution of management thought happened? This is very interesting, very beautiful. Concepts are there, very beautiful concepts. See, management as a domain, and as we understand and practice today, they say that, some of the books, right, they mention that it is just 100 years old. Just 100 years old. It's a surprise thing. And they say that there is a documented history thousands of years old, and that's called scientific management. You understand? See, management as a domain, it may be 100 years old, but the documented history of the scientific management is thousands of years old, few thousand years old. And they were referring about our ancestors, how they managed the biggest projects, right? And the ancient civilization such as India, China, or Greece, right? It's very surprised to see or to recollect what kind of projects the ancestors have, you know, taken up. And look at the people who has done enormous amount of work in politics, political science, commerce, even in the religion field, right? Constructions, monuments, architectural things, engineering related, civil engineering related. Basically, you need management methods in order to accomplish something, right? See, the very concept of management is understood and practiced differently in different countries. What is a contemporary management style? What kind of style in today's world exists? Now, if this is a kind of classroom session, right, a kind of workshop kind of thing, I am sure each one of you explain tons of examples in your real life. I faced this problem, that problem. My boss is like this. My boss, perform like this, and this is what the challenge are. Both positive stories, negative stories, and of course neutral, stories also. Right. Majority of the comments, I'm sure, it could be related to challenges that people have faced because of management. Oh my God, Vishwa, in our company, the management is like this, something, this kind of, there's a high chance, high probability that we can hear this kind of challenges. But you know what? This is not something new to you alone, and you are not alone. And this is not something that's happening now. This is happening for years and years, ages and ages, for several years. So, there are management thinkers, we can call, right? Basically, there are people who suffered and struggled a lot, just like you. How you have struggled under a very inefficient manager. How you have struggled under a very poor, ineffective management. Similarly, there are people who struggled. But you know what? The key difference here? Your struggle and their struggle is same. But the key difference here is they tried to solve it innovatively, holistically. But you tried to solve it individually. I don't want to use this word, but yes, since it is fact, I can say selfishly. Right? Not all of you. And you may not be knowing that you acted in a selfish way. That's another, dimension. Even in those days, 100 years ago, 200 years or 1000 years ago, people faced the same type of problems. The problems that you are facing, similar type of problems. I am talking about the management related problems. Don't, think about the technology perspective. Oh my God, during those days we don't have technology. What are you saying? No, I am talking about the management aspects. The pain that you had or that you are having under a very poor management or because of a poor manager. When I say poor manager, inefficient manager, right? Same pain even millions of people, right, they have had in the past. But some of them have, overcome it. They mitigated such pain through their innovation, through their innovative thinking. And they became pioneers of management thinkers. Yes, the pioneers of management thinkers. Most of the books, the management MBA books are written by Western people, right? Most of the books, and they are very good at documenting, right? As you know. And when you study MBA, when you see all these names, don't get into a trap of, oh, we don't have any management gurus in India. So we don't have any, why we don't have any management thinkers? No. Just because you don't know, don't think that, we don't have any management thinkers in India. There are management thinkers. Greatest thinkers. That is why, right, the ancient civilizations, India, China, Greece, how come they built such a enormous, huge projects? I am talking about 1,000 years old, 2,000 years ago. I am not talking about what happened in last 300 years or 400 years. Right? Go back to 1,000 years ago, monuments, architectural buildings. How did they motivate people? How did they get the job done? Right? There are temples which are, thousands of years old, right? More than 1,000 years and so on. So what kind of engineering existed during those days? See, all these things, right? I'm not going into that deeper introspection perspective. Rather, I want to keep the, subject very clear and crisp. So who are those pioneers of management thinkers? See, I want to be very caution here. When I say these names, don't think that these are the only management thinkers, right? What I'm saying is the world is too big. People say world is too small. Yes, in internet world is too small. Virtually, in digital world is too small. But in the physical world, the world is too big. So don't get into a trap of these quotations also. World is too small, we can meet easily, we can meet again. No. In a digital world, yes, it's possible. Anyway, now the pioneers of management thinkers. So what I'm trying to say is, when you hear some inventions made by some people, don't get restricted yourself saying that, oh, these are the only people that existed, or these are the only guys who are the heroes or pioneers, right? They are not the only heroes or pioneers. There are many pioneers and legends and great experts in all the countries. Predominantly, India has that kind of profound knowledge. I don't want to emphasize further on this. So let's get into who are those pioneers of management thinkers that many books have mentioned. They are Frederick Winslow Taylor, Henry Fayol. See, the pronunciation is little different, right? So don't worry about the pronunciation. Henry Fayol, Henry Fayol, Henry Fayol, right? That's something that you can. So Max Weber, Mary Parker Follett, George Elton Mayo, Chester Bernard, Herbert Simon, Rensis Liker, Douglas McGregor. Douglas McGregor, right? Nice name. Theory X and Theory Y, I think, yes. Chris Argysis, right? Chris Argysis also people say, but Chris Argysis who can say. And the modern management thinkers also, we should talk about. My favorite, all-time favorite, modern management thinker. And again, don't think that he is the only all-time favorite, right? So Peter F. Drucker, right? Culture eats a strategy for its breakfast. That's one of the most famous quotations from Peter F. Drucker. Culture eats a strategy for its breakfast. I made a video on this particular quotation. I've explained what exactly the meaning of this. You can go through in my channel. And by the way, If you are not subscribed and if you are listening to this but you are not subscribed, please do so that you don't miss the future sequels of this content. Okay. Have you subscribed? You can just click on that. All right. Who are the modern management thinkers? Michael Porter, Tom Peters, as I said, Peter F. Drucker, Gary Hamel, Hans of Henry Mintzberg, right? These are some of the modern management thinkers. Some of the management thinkers. They are not the only management thinkers. So, how did the management evolution happen? That's right. First of all, let's look at the definition of management. What is the time now? It's 35 minutes over. So, we'll take 10 more minutes and then maybe 10-15 minutes. So, the definition of management, right? The definition of management, it has multiple definitions, multiple. But you know why it has multiple definitions? Because management is not science alone. It's an art also. Unfortunately, today's management is neither science nor art. I repeat, today's management is neither art nor science. They are not following scientific approach. They are not following artistic approach. That's why new type of problems are emerging very rapidly. Managing people in the current context is very, very daunting task. You can build a technical product, you can build a sophisticated, advanced technical product easily, but you cannot manage the people in today's world. Managing people and making them work, making them understand your intentions, making them understand the importance of their own career, that itself is becoming a huge task. Making them understand the importance of what they are doing, why they are doing, how they should be doing, how they should think for society, that's the most daunting task, right? That is why the premier institution, the top premier institutions charge heavily for teaching those techniques. Are they teaching? That's a second that I don't know. I cannot comment on that. But now, management may be defined as the art of securing maximum results with a minimum of effort, so as to secure maximum prosperity and happiness for both employer and employee, and give the public the best possible service. What a nice statement about management, right? The definition of management. I'll repeat. Management may be defined as the art of securing maximum results with a minimum of effort, so as to secure maximum prosperity and happiness for both employer and employee, and give the public the best possible service. This definition is given by John Mee. Let's look at another definition. Harold Kuntz. Management is the art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. It is the art of creating the environment in which people can perform as individuals yet cooperate towards attainment of group goals. It is the art of removing blocks to such performance, a way of optimizing efficiency to reach goals. Nice statement, right? Management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized groups. It is the art of creating the environment in which people can perform as individuals, yet cooperate towards attainment of group goals. It is the art of removing blocks to such performance, a way of optimizing efficiency to reach goals. Oh my God. The biggest abuse that's happening in the to the MBA concepts is using wrong labels for wrong reasons. right? Efficiency. When it comes to this particular word efficiency, every company has a different definition. It is mind blowing, jaw dropping, shocking definitions. The internal definition. You know what? Efficiency is such a beautiful word, but you know, the organizations, their inner meaning, the internal meaning of efficiency is totally different. You will be shocked. And you know what I am, referring here. Unfortunate. That's why I said it's abused. The methods are abused, used for a wrong purpose. And I am not saying all this. These are all the things that those management pioneers and thinkers have said. Let's look at another definition. Management is a distinct process consisting of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling performed to determine and accomplish the objectives by the use of people and resources. Nice definitions, right? Out of all these, the first definition is what I really like. Management may be defined as the art of securing maximum results with a minimum of effort so as to secure maximum prosperity and happiness for both employer and employee and give the public the best possible service. See how they connected so beautifully. Getting maximum result with a minimum effort and securing maximum prosperity and happiness. Securing, it's not about earning maximum prosperity and happiness. There's a big difference. Securing, meaning it's a long term. For what? For who? Employer and employee. Both the sides. It is not that employees alone becoming successful, but the company is getting into loss. Have you seen such organizations? Have you witnessed such scenarios? Employees are becoming rich and the company is becoming poor. The citizens are becoming rich, but the country is becoming poor. Have you thought about this scenario? Right? People are becoming rich, but the system is becoming weak. How come it's possible? It is possible. It's happening. Employees are becoming rich. The employee could be any role, any level. I'm not talking about that specific. But the company is getting into bankruptcy or kind of losses. How does it happen? There are tons of stories that I can explain. But anyway, let's look at this definition. For both employer and employee and give the public the best possible service. See how they connected back to the society. Generally, we all make mistake when we are into something, when we work on something, we only focus on that particular service or deliverable. And if you deliver, your job is done. You don't even think about what are the consequences of this product. What are the consequences of these services. Somebody orders something and the company produces and they give back. Without even thinking, does it really create any impact on, any negative impact on society? See, there are students who buy undesirable, right, restricted items, right, but the shopkeepers, without any second thought, they just simply sell that, right? Why students need to purchase such restricted items? First of all, no shopkeeper asks this. For them, it's just the money. When a student get into that shop, if he asks for something which is restricted or which is restricted, age restricted items I am talking about, the shopkeeper should take that moral responsibility and say that, hey, we don't sell this to you, to your age, right? Or if you don't know, if the shopkeeper doesn't know the age, he cannot guess the age, he should ask, what is your age? And if the student lie, right, shopkeeper further she should confirm, show me your identity card, any identity card, right, or give me your parents number, I'll talk. You may not get answer, but at least the student gets, fear, he'll afraid, then he will hesitate and he will move away, he will move out of the shop. If you don't put such controls, moral, ethical controls, and if you treat everybody as a customer and for the sake of money, then you are spoiling the society and system. That's where the shopkeeper is becoming rich, but the society is becoming poor. That is how it is. That is how it happens. Similarly, when you are promoting a wrong employee, when I say wrong employee, the poor performed employee, you are making the company weak, right? Most of the times this happens. Wrong people get into the higher roles, right? But there are no validations or there are no justifications given. Everything is a surprise. Everything is a surprise in a company. Happy thing or unhappy thing, both becomes a surprise. These are the problems that the management thinkers also faced 1,000 years ago, and they solved it, and they become very famous by solving those challenges. Understood? So I think we can stop. It is a 47 minutes, right? See, do you like this kind of content? If you want us to make this kind of content and talk about the remaining concepts of MBA knowledge related to the real world, ideal versus current, talk about the gaps, talk about the solutions, recommendations. If you are interested, then you can share it with your friends and ask them to subscribe, right? If the classroom is filled, if the classroom is full, only then the faculty can get that happiness, and it's worth the time spent, right? So Vishwa, you said it's not a classroom, it's not an education session, and again, why are you giving the classroom example, right? See, if you are having the interest to learn, everything is a classroom for you. As long as you have an interest to learn, as long as you are a student, the whole world is a classroom for you. You can learn from anything. You can learn from nature, you can learn from parents, you can learn from your friends, you can learn from movies, you can learn from books, you can learn from neighbors, you can learn from anything and everything in this world. That's why I have to give that classroom example. I hope you liked it. So share and grow the subscribers to grow your life and grow your thinking process. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.